Glasses? No glasses. Glasses? No glasses. Glasses. Hey guys, it is me, Conan, and today I am doing a video that a bunch of you guys requested. I made a video like 2 weeks ago-ish, and it was a video of me going through my sketchbook and all my sketchbooks and all my little sketches and doodles and things like that, and it ended up getting a really good response and everybody really wanted to see more. And in the video I mentioned that a lot of the stuff in my sketchbook was for an AP portfolio, and I asked if you guys would want to see a video of all my AP portfolio stuff, and you guys all said yes. A lot of them. A lot of yeses. It was overwhelming. But I got to thinking and I thought more than likely people probably wanted to more see like what I have in my portfolio over like tips on how to have a good portfolio. And I think by seeing a portfolio that did well, it helps a lot to like make your own portfolio do well. So in my little tiny journal, I wrote down a few tips on like what I did when I was making my portfolio. I guess I'll just talk to you guys about my portfolio. So for those of you who don't know, an AP portfolio is basically like a college level art class, and when you make one, you make 24 art pieces in a year. You basically just collect 24 art pieces, 12 of which that all have a theme, like a central theme, and 12 that are just like random and kind of show your creativity and show your personality. I'm a senior right now, but I was very fortunate to do my portfolio when I was a junior because it kind of put me in this mind state to where like if I did badly, it didn't really matter because I still had another year to try again. But I actually ended up doing very well. I got a 5, which is like the highest score you can get on an AP portfolio. If you get a 5, that means you did very well, and that means that that's like the top, which I'm very happy that I did well, because going into it I didn't really like know what was going on and I didn't really know if I was going to be able to do well. So I ended up choosing to do a 2D portfolio. So everything here is all two-dimensional, no sculptures or anything like that. My concentration prompt was centered around social media presence because I do this YouTube thing and I have this very small following on the internet, and it affected a lot of my life throughout all of high school and all of middle school. So I did a lot about social media presence and about self-image and like what media expects of people. So that's what I did my concentration about. I'm not going to show you guys like every single piece in it because that'd be 24 pieces and it's like a lot of work, and I'm pretty sure like I've lost some of them and stuff like that because this was last year. But when you do your portfolio, you send in 4 pieces. I think it's 4 pieces. This is the artwork that they get to see you know, in front of them. Everything else they just see on like a little computer screen. So I wanted to pick like my best 4 pieces for this. So you send everything in this portfolio, which actually isn't that large because I make really large artwork. I like to make big artwork, and so this was kind of a challenge because a lot of my pieces were bigger than this already. So I'm going to show you guys what I ended up sending to the jurors. The first piece, which is probably like the big kahuna, like the big guy, is this drawing. It is a Prismacolor drawing. It's won me a lot of contests, thankfully. In fact, there actually is a blue ribbon on it right now because I got Best in Show at a gallery, which was really cool. This guy was kind of like the centerpiece of my entire portfolio. This piece is called A Star for You, and it's Prismacolor, and there's some gold leaf and a little bit of paint used, but primarily Prismacolor, which are colored pencils, for those of you who do not know. This kind of like was my piece to show what the portfolio was about and to show like my skill level, like my technical skill level. When I was young, my mother used to always read me this book, and it was this book called, it was a book called You Are Special. I forgot who it's by, but it's basically about the civilization of people who are like made out of wood, and they like their self-value and like their value in the society is determined upon how many stars they get, and people hand out each other like stars, and they'll be like, oh, you look good today, and they'll like give them a star. Or if they like look bad today, if they make a mistake, they'll give them like a gray dot. What I was saying with this piece is I was trying to express how either way, even if they were good comments or even if they were bad comments, they always in the end had a negative effect on my personality or a negative effect on my view of myself. This is a self-portrait, if you can't tell. This is me. I'm going like this. You know, I was basically saying like, even if you get a bunch of compliments, a bunch of gold stars, they won't raise your value as a human being. And even if you get a bunch of negative comments and if everybody hates you, that doesn't decrease your value as a human being. In the portfolio you put 12 slides, and this drawing ended up taking up 2 of those slides. So I took a photo of it like far away and another photo of it close up because the detail work is pretty like intricate and took me a long time. Yeah, this was a big one. He's a big one. I talked about that one a lot. I promise I won't talk about the other ones as much. Wham bam. This is a drawing I did my sophomore year. It is me with my gecko on my face. You can tell that I'm significantly pinker because back then I didn't really understand skin tones. This was a piece named Unlikely. This was kind of like my big piece of my sophomore year too, and so in the ones that I sent to the jurors, I sent like my biggest, baddest, painstakingly realistic pieces. Even though this isn't like very realistic, but you know what I mean. Like the stuff that I worked the hardest on, and the longest on. This is one of the pieces where I didn't really understand how it fit into my concentration, like how it fit into my prompt, but I stuck it in there anyways. That's one of the tips I wanted to tell you guys. You shouldn't worry too much about everything sticking to your concentration prompt. I think that it's not as strict as I thought it was when I first went out there. I still got a top score, I still did well, even though this piece doesn't really scream like social media present, but I think it's still good. This was a painting that I did of my friend Gus during sophomore year. This was one of the first paintings I'd ever done because I'd never painted before. It's basically just a portrait, but something about the mood that it evokes, I thought it matched my concentration pretty well. This was a Prismacolor piece I did with my sister. I was trying to show how everything that she had on, which she believed had monetary value, didn't really mean that much in the end, and that's why it's all painted white, because I was just trying to show how vain the world is right now. This is the last piece that was sent to the jurors. It is a Prismacolor drawing of my friend Charlotte, and I was trying to show how everybody has 2 sides. One side that they show to the world and another side that they don't show to the world. This was really fun to do because it was done in like a kind of double exposure style, and that was something I was really interested in during the time. So those are all the pieces that I sent to the jurors. Those probably decided my score in the end. Now I'm just going to show you guys some of the stuff in my breath section. In my breath, I kind of just went crazy. I just experimented a bunch with different types of media. I just kind of wanted to see what types of materials I could use and what kind of subjects I could have to show that I can do more than portraits, because I didn't want to seem like a one-trick pony, because I know I am not a one-trick pony. I can do a lot of things, and that's kind of what I wanted to show them. This was a piece in my breath section that is made completely out of yarn. This is all yarn and glue. Just was a way for me to show me using different types of media, and it's also really fun to touch, which is good. Here is a cute little scratch board cicada that I did probably my sophomore year. I just really liked the black and white and the contrast, and the board that I used was really nice. Cicada! I really love cicadas. I don't know what it is, I just love them. This is one of the things that I put in my breath section because it showed my technical skill. I think it's important to show both your creative skill and your technical skill because they're looking for really well-rounded artists. This acts as a still life while still portraying some type of message. It's just a bottle, which bottles are really fun to draw. If you haven't drawn a bottle before, draw a bottle. They're really fun to draw. He's a cutie. So those are just some examples of stuff in my breath section. Here is a piece that was in my concentration, but I couldn't send in because it was too big. There's actually another piece I'm about to show you that had the same problem. Another tip that I'm going to tell you guys is to make sure you don't make your pieces too large, and if you're going to make them large, then you can't send them in, so just keep that in mind. It's too big, doesn't fit in this portfolio, but it's okay because I didn't really want to send that in my portfolio anyways. Here is my big painting from my junior year. This was the painting that I entered into a bunch of contests, and it did really well. It's me. If you can't tell, I like painting myself. I just feel like it's the face that I know the best. My own face. This was one that I was really proud of, and I really liked it just because I hadn't painted that much. I don't paint that often. I usually draw, and so painting was something I really got into my junior year, and this guy ended up doing really well. It went to state competitions. He's really big though, which means that I couldn't send him in for my AP portfolio. So this guy got a slide in my concentration. Last is this little guy. He went into my concentration section as well. He's just a watercolor painting, and he took me maybe like 45 minutes, but I just kind of wanted to fill up some space. I don't think you should stress too much about certain things just because you can make good art in a short amount of time. I don't think you have to worry too much about the time constraints. So everything that you aren't seeing is all the stuff in my sketchbook. A lot, and I mean a lot, of the things that I put in my portfolio were this large. There were tiny little pieces in my sketchbook, my watercolor sketchbook. The good thing is about the portfolios is they're online, so you can take little photos and they don't really know that it's this tiny little thing in a watercolor sketchbook. They just think that it's a painting. Definitely keep a sketchbook, because this sketchbook stuff is going to save your booty when you're like, I don't have anything to put in my portfolio. All this sketchbook stuff is what you're going to want to put in your portfolio. You're able to show a diversity of your talents in a somewhat quick manner, because you have to make 24 things in a year. So, you know, that's why sketchbooks are really useful. If you want to see all the things in my sketchbook, I did a sketchbook tour, so that's why I'm not showing them in this video. You can go watch that. I'll leave the link in the description below. So that is all I have to show you. I hope that you enjoyed. I'm very scatterbrained with this stuff because I don't really know how to go around telling you guys how to make a portfolio. Obviously, my portfolio wasn't perfect. When I went into it, I had no plan on what to do with my concentration, and I was scared that I didn't have enough pieces to be able to fill out 24. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same boat right now, so I just hope that my portfolio or the stuff that I showed you will give you guys a little burst of inspiration and hopefully help you guys, as I know it can be stressful and it's perfectly okay to be stressed out right now. It's a hard task. In the comments, I'd love to hear any questions you have about my portfolio or about your portfolio. There's tons and tons and tons of resources online on how to make a good portfolio, and so I hope that this helped. I'll make sure to answer as many of the questions that you guys have in the comments below, because I want to help. If you want to see more of me, you can click the subscribe button. If you don't, you can leave. I'll see you guys next week with a brand new video. God bless and goodbye!